Opening scene, Jessica Drew is now a recognized superhero in her city. She's balancing her vigilante life with her role as a secret agent for SWORD. A new villain, Charlotte Witter, emerges, stealing powers from other heroes. Her aim is to dominate the spider-themed power set. Jessica starts to experience blackouts and visions of her traumatic origin, linked to her parents and the experiments that gave her powers. A mysterious ally, Julia Carpenter, approaches Jessica, warning her about a growing web of deceit that threatens their entire existence. Jessica uncovers clues suggesting that her parents may still be alive but in the clutches of an underground genetic experimentation group. Charlotte manipulates the media to turn the public against Jessica, framing her for attacks across the city. Julia helps Jessica uncover the villain's true plan. Charlotte intends to activate a device called the Weaver's Nexus, which can amplify her powers but at the cost of destroying the spider power web altogether. A moral dilemma arises: should Jessica save her parents or stop Charlotte and protect the other spider-powered individuals? Jessica confronts Charlotte in an abandoned lab, where the Weaver's Nexus has been activated. A climactic battle ensues, involving aerial combat and emotional stakes as Charlotte reveals Jessica's family was complicit in her transformation. Julia sacrifices herself to disable the Nexus, leaving Jessica to confront her past alone. Jessica spares Charlotte but ensures she's captured, leaving room for her redemption arc. Jessica grapples with who she is and what the consequences of unchecked ambition and power. Jessica realizes her family is not just who she was born to but those who support her now. The room is bathed in a cold, flickering blue light from the Nexus. Charlotte Witter stands at the center, her energy crackling in chaotic arcs around her. Jessica approaches cautiously, her black and yellow Spider-Woman suit torn from earlier battles. Charlotte, did you really think you could stop me, Drew? You're nothing but a pawn in their game. Always were. Jessica, and you're what? A queen? Look around, Charlotte. You're destroying everything, including yourself. Charlotte, I'm reclaiming what's mine. What was stolen from all of us. Do you know what it's like to have your life rewritten, Jessica? To have your powers used as someone else's weapon? Jessica, every single day. But you don't fix it by becoming them. You stop it by being better. Charlotte snarls, unleashing a wave of energy. Jessica dives, firing a venom blast. It hits Charlotte's shoulder, knocking her back but not stopping her. Charlotte, better? There's no better. There's only survival. Jessica leaps onto the Nexus console, using her strength to rip apart the wiring. Sparks rain down as Charlotte screams, lunging at her. Jessica, survive this. Jessica spins, wrapping Charlotte in a web cocoon, then yanks her to the ground. The Nexus begins to destabilize. Julia Carpenter rushes in, injured but determined. Julia, go, Jessica. This is my fight now. Jessica, Julia, no. Julia slams her palm onto the Nexus, channeling her energy to disable it. A massive explosion of light fills the room. Cut to black, opening scene, extension New York City, night. The city skyline glimmers under the moonlight. A violent storm brews in the distance, lightning crackling. The camera pans down to a bustling street where chaos unfolds. A gang of masked criminals hijacks an armored truck. Suddenly, a dark figure leaps into the fray, Jessica Drew, clad in her sleek Spider-Woman suit. Her movements are quick, deliberate, almost graceful. Jessica, people think being a superhero is glamorous. The fame, the powers, the saving lives. They don't see the bruises, the sleepless nights, or the guilt when you don't save everyone. Jessica swings onto the truck, using her venom blasts to disable the tires. The truck screeches to a halt. The criminals fire at her, but she dodges effortlessly, webbing two of them to the pavement. As she fights, we notice she's moving slower than usual, her stamina faltering. Her vision blurs briefly. She shakes it off, taking down the last of the criminals, INT. Abandoned warehouse. Later, Jessica interrogates one of the captured criminals, tying him up in webbing. Criminal, we were just following orders. Please, I don't even know what was in the truck. Jessica, you expect me to believe you don't know why you're risking life and limb? What's in the truck? Who's behind this? Before he can answer, Jessica suddenly collapses. Her vision darkens. Flashback sequence: we see snippets of Jessica's origin, her parents working in a lab, her being injected with experimental serums, and her waking up in agony, INT. Jessica's apartment. Morning. Jessica jolts awake in her bed, breathing heavily. She looks around, disoriented. On her nightstand is a hollow communicator blinking with a message from Maria Hill. Maria Hill: Jessica, you've gone dark for 12 hours. We need to talk. Now. Jessica reluctantly gets up, glancing at her reflection in the mirror. Her face is bruised, and her eyes show exhaustion. Scene: SWORD headquarters. Jessica meets Maria Hill in a high-tech briefing room. Maria looks stern but concerned. Maria: you're slipping, Drew. That blackout last night wasn't the first, was it? Jessica: it's nothing. I've been pushing too hard. Maria: it's more than that. We've been monitoring your vitals. Something's destabilizing your biology. It might be linked to the experiments you underwent as a kid. Jessica: I'm fine, Maria. What's the real reason you called me in? Maria hesitates, then pulls up a hologram of Charlotte Witter. Maria: this is Charlotte Witter. Geneticist turned rogue. She's been stealing powers, literally siphoning them from other enhanced individuals. We think you're next on her list. Jessica stares at the hologram, her expression hardening. Jessica: let her try. Scene: Charlotte Witter introduction. INT. Underground lab. Night. Charlotte Witter stands in front of a group of henchmen. She's clad in a dark, gothic version of a spider-themed suit, her hair wild and her expression twisted with anger. Charlotte: Jessica Drew thinks she's the queen of the web. But she doesn't know the truth. Her powers, her life, they were never hers to begin with. She approaches a restrained figure, a lesser-known hero struggling against bonds. Charlotte places her hands on the hero, draining their powers in a burst of crackling energy. Charlotte: soon, I'll have what's mine. And she'll be nothing but a broken strand in my web. Scene: Jessica meets Julia Carpenter extension rooftop. Night. Jessica perches on a rooftop, overlooking the city. She's deep in thought, grappling with Maria's warnings. Suddenly, a figure steps out of the shadows. It's Julia Carpenter. Jessica: if you're here to recruit me to another secret war, I'm not interested. Julia: relax. I'm here to save your life. Jessica finally looks at her, suspicious. Jessica: and you are? Julia: Julia Carpenter. Spider-Woman. Like you, but better dressed. Jessica rolls her eyes but listens as Julia explains. Julia: Charlotte's after you because she believes you're the key to controlling the Weaver's Nexus, a device that connects everyone with spider powers. If she activates it, she won't just steal your powers, she'll destroy everyone like us. Jessica: and where were you when she started targeting us? Julia: fighting her. Losing. That's why I need your help. Jessica hesitates, the weight of responsibility pressing on her. Jessica: I don't trust you. Julia: you don't have to. But trust this, if we don't stop her, there won't be a web left for us to fight over. Let's continue with Act 2 of Spider-Woman 2, Shadows of the Web, diving deeper into the story, character arcs, and the rising tension between Jessica, Charlotte, and Julia. This act will focus on uncovering secrets, Jessica's moral dilemmas, and intense action scenes. Scene 1, a new lead. INT. SWORD headquarters, strategy room. Jessica and Julia stand in front of a holographic map showing recent spider power related attacks. Red dots blink across the globe. Maria Hill stands nearby, arms crossed, looking grim. Maria: Charlotte's movements are erratic, but they all lead to one place, an abandoned genetics lab just outside San Francisco. Jessica: that lab. It was owned by my parents' company. Julia: then it's not a coincidence. She's looking for something, or someone, there. Jessica clenches her fists, emotions bubbling up. Jessica: if this is connected to my parents, I need to know the truth. Maria: Jessica, be careful. Charlotte isn't just after your powers, she's playing a long game, and you're her endgame. Jessica exchanges a look with Julia, her resolve hardening. Scene 2, into the lab extension abandoned genetics lab. Night. The lab looms like a haunted relic from Jessica's past, vines creeping up the crumbling walls. Thunder rumbles in the distance. Jessica and Julia stealthily approach the building. Julia, you sure you're ready for this? Jessica, no. But I'm going in anyway. Inside, the lab is a maze of shattered glass, dusty equipment, and eerie silence. Jessica finds a broken photo frame with her parents' faces in it. She stares at it, lost in thought, until Julia snaps her out of it. Julia, we've got company. They spot Charlotte's henchmen, who are loading crates of stolen tech into a truck. Jessica leaps into action, taking down 2 of them with precision web shots. Julia joins the fight, showing her own combat skills. In the chaos, Jessica notices a hidden door. Something about it feels familiar. Jessica, Julia, cover me. She pries the door open, revealing a hidden elevator. Scene 3, the secret below INT. Underground lab. Continuous. The elevator takes Jessica to an underground facility that's shockingly intact. Monitors flicker to life, showing recordings of experiments on her. Young Jessica is strapped to a table, screaming as a serum is injected into her arm. The scientists, including her father, watch coldly. Jessica, no. No, this can't be real. Charlotte's voice echoes through the room. Charlotte, it's real, Jessica. Every memory you buried, every truth they hid, it's all here. Charlotte steps out of the shadows, her presence commanding. Charlotte, you think you're a hero? You're just another experiment, like me. The only difference is I embraced the monster they made me. Jessica, they didn't make me. I made me. Charlotte smirks, raising her hands as crackling energy surrounds her. Charlotte, let's test that theory. They clash in a brutal fight. Charlotte's power-draining abilities give her the upper hand, and Jessica struggles, her strength fading. Scene 4, the escape INT. Underground lab. Later, Julia arrives just in time, using her psychic web abilities to fend off Charlotte. She pulls a weakened Jessica to her feet. Julia, we need to go. Now. Jessica, she knows something about my parents. I can't leave yet. Julia, if we stay, she'll kill us both, and then no one gets answers. Reluctantly, Jessica agrees. They escape through the lab's ventilation system as Charlotte activates the lab's self-destruct mechanism. Explosions rock the facility as they barely make it out. Scene 5, a Dark Revelation extension safe house. Night. Jessica and Julia regroup at a safe house. Jessica is visibly shaken, replaying the footage she saw. Julia, I know it's a lot, but you can't let this break you. Jessica, you don't get it. My whole life, my parents, my powers, none of it was real. I'm just a science project. Julia, so am I. Jessica looks at her, surprised. Julia, the experiments, the lies, I've been through it too. But you know what keeps me going? Jessica doesn't respond, still lost in thought. Julia, the people we save. The lives we change. We're more than what they made us. And Charlotte? She's proof of what happens when you let the past control you. Jessica takes this in, her resolve slowly returning. Jessica, then we stop her. Scene 6, Charlotte's plan revealed INT. Charlotte's hideout. Night. Charlotte stands before the Weaver's Nexus, a massive, spider-shaped device pulsing with energy. Her henchmen work around her, calibrating the machine. Charlotte, with this, I'll rewrite the web. No more Jessica Drew. No more spider women. Just me. One of her henchmen hesitates. Henchman, but won't this destroy everyone connected to the web? Charlotte glares at him. Charlotte, sacrifices must be made. She activates the device, and we see spider-powered individuals across the globe reacting, collapsing, their powers weakening. Scene 7, preparing for the final battle INT. Safe house. Night. Jessica and Julia gear up for the final showdown. Julia hands Jessica a new, enhanced suit, a gift from SWORD. It's sleeker, with advanced tech. Julia, this isn't just about stopping Charlotte. It's about protecting everyone like us. Jessica then let's send this, let's continue with Act 3 of Spider-Woman 2, Shadows of the Web.